Chapultepec, a word you probably remember hearing in your high school Spanish class and kind of just forgot about it. Now you can witness the beauty, sophistication, and elegance of this place before your very eyes. Chapultepec can be broken down into two different sections, one as a park and the other as a castle. Let's start with the park, also known as the Bosque de Chapultepec. One thing off the bat I should mention is that the Bosque de Chapultepec is big. And I mean big, big. The Bosque de Chapultepec is Mexico City's largest and most popular park. The trees were as far as the eye could see. It is considered the first and most important of Mexico City's lungs, with trees that replenish oxygen to the Valley of Mexico. I had the privilege to have booked a hotel with an amazing view of the park, a 1,700-acre plus space home to a zoo, a large lake for sailing, hospitable food and toy vendors, botanical gardens and lounging areas, and historical monuments and museums. Also a great place for exercise too. Beautiful morning out here in the Bosque de Chapultepec. 2 days until Christmas, and there's no better way to start off your morning. Even if you're on vacation, just try to find a way to do some exercise, because you already know you're about to eat. Oh crap, I just tripped. You know you're about to eat a lot. So it just feels really good, especially in the morning. So get your exercise in, okay? Another cool thing about the Bosque de Chapultepec, there are squirrels. If you have nuts or fruit, they will literally eat it off your hand. Like, these guys are not scared. Look, look, look. Come here, mi amigo. Come here. Come on. Aw. Look how cute they are. I have like a thing of fruit. They sell fruit for 50 pesos, which is like, I think 25 cents. So these guys eat in little quantities. These Mexican gray squirrels are cute and friendly, if you have something for them. They'd honestly eat everything and anything, but try to stick to feeding them nuts or fruit, as that is their diet. There are vendors all over the park that sell them. Please avoid feeding them Cheetos or chips. They honestly prefer fruits and nuts much more. I was attracting so many squirrels at one point, a native photographer asked to take pictures of me. So here's a rare photo shoot of me with nature. Do you let me pet you? Can I pet you? No, he's not gonna let me. Nope. It's pretty hard to miss this amazing monument that sits in the center of the park. This is Monumento a los Niños Héroes. Towards the end of the Mexican-American War, one of the last battles to be fought was right here in the Battle of Chapultepec, where on September 13th, 1847, 6 young teenage Mexican cadets stood their ground against the sieging American Marines. And after they died from the battle, they are now martyred right here and forever immortalized in Los Niños Héroes. And now they serve as a symbolic piece of Mexican nationality and pride. It's a really fascinating story about these Mexican military cadets. We'll get more into it as I'll show you later in the video. As I'm walking through the park, I heard good music and a crowd gathered in one area, which should be a telltale sign of something interesting happening. Interesting would be an understatement. Surprised would better fit the script. I came to find out that these were indigenous Indians from Veracruz who came here to perform the Danza de los Voladores, Dance of the Flyers. It is an ancient Mesoamerican ritual still performed today in isolated pockets in Mexico. The ceremony consists of climbing up a 30-meter pole from which 4 of the 5 participants then launch themselves tied with ropes to descend to the ground. The 5th remains on top of the pole, dancing and playing a flute and drum. According to one myth, the ritual was created to ask the gods to end a severe drought. Today, it is strongly associated with the Totonac people,
especially those in and around Papantla in the Mexican state of Veracruz. The ceremony was named an intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO in order to help the rituals survive and thrive in the modern world.
Mira la clase de flauta.
As rich as their culture, their attire symbolized that of their conversion as well to Christianity, with the iconic symbol of the Virgin Mary at their center. It was such a treat to bump into this unique cultural showing and to meet and talk with the hospitable natives as well. Now let's transition to the other side, El Castillo de Chapultepec. It's worth mentioning a few things. First, the line can get pretty long, so try to arrive at least a half hour before it opens. Touring around the castle can take a minimum of 5 hours to hit every section, so prepare yourself and do yourself a favor and bring comfortable footwear. Again, you're going to be on your feet most of the day, so best to do it in something that keeps you comfy. Also, very important, make sure you bring cash. They do not take credit cards. I did not find this information on the website, so I had to go and find an ATM in order to withdraw cash. So please save yourself the trouble and bring cash. It's only 85 pesos, which is roughly about $4.20. Another big thing, make sure you eat and drink something before you get in. There is a zero tolerance policy for any food or beverage when entering the castle. No exceptions. With all these precautions, let me tell you, it is definitely worth it.
I am here in the Castillo de Chapultepec, which in Aztec is Hill of the Grasshoppers. Now this area served multiple purposes. It first started out as a pyramid for the indigenous Indians, and then eventually after Spain took over, it served as a summer palace for the viceroy, the government official of Spain when he came into Mexico. It eventually became a military academy for training cadets for the military of Mexico. So more of like a West Point for the United States. And that's where in the famous battle in 1847 of the Battle of Chapultepec, where Los Niños Héroes was right here where they became martyred. Now fast forward 17 years later, Maximiliano of Austria came here to Mexico and was the Emperor of Mexico. And then until 3 years later, he was executed. And to this day, the Castillo de Chapultepec is the only place in all of North America to house any kind of royal residency. And eventually some presidents did live here until 1939. And then in 1944, it eventually became a museum of national history.
A symbolic piece in the castle is the ceiling mural representing one of the cadets of the Niños Héroes, jumping to his death off the castle with the Mexican flag in his right hand in order not to be captured by the American troops during the Battle of Chapultepec. Remembrance of this famous Niños Héroes are covered throughout the Castillo. I even found a cute cartoon story representation of the cadets and covering other important events of Mexican history, including the coming of Maximiliano of Austria, the Mexican-American War, and the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. It relays history from the perspective of Mexico, which is interesting if you grew up learning history in the US because you're finally hearing the other half of the story. When you're in another country, learning about their history is a great way to immerse yourself into their culture and understand them. This is an easy to understand viewing that you should take full advantage of when you're in the Castillo de Chapultepec. Mexico's rich history gets covered even deeper all the way back to the days of the Mexicas, what we know as the Aztecs. It includes fascinating pre-Columbian artifacts and displays about ancient cultures of Mexico, and paintings of the Aztecs displaying their power by conquering neighboring Indian tribes, forcing them to yield to the empire, slicing up men, women, and children while they were still alive, sticking their arm into their chest to rip out the still beating heart to be given up to their gods as a sacrifice, to then cut off their heads and store their skulls for display throughout the city. And forced taxation. Can't forget about the taxes. All that kind of stopped when the Spaniards pulled up. The castle features the influence of the Spanish after conquering the Aztecs, creating New Spain, Nueva España, such as an established government body, language transition, that's why Mexicans today speak Espanol, and evangelization of the natives to Christianity. There's also beautiful artworks of the influence of Benito Juarez, shown in the Batalla de Puebla, the Declaration of Independence from Spain, the notoriety of Pancho Villa, the presidency of Porfirio Diaz, and even the flirtation of the country with communism. Not to mention the amazing architectural design of the castle itself. I highly recommend you hire a tour guide. They are not that expensive. They have guides who specialize in this part of history, and you will be given a greatly detailed tour, which will bring life to the things you're seeing. You can find someone in the entrance of the castle looking to tour around anybody. No video or picture ever truly captures the beauty and awe compared to seeing it in person. If you are ever lucky enough to find yourself in Mexico City, please do yourself a favor and go visit Chapultepec. If you could only choose one destination to visit throughout the whole city, it would have to be Chapultepec. Or Lucha Libre. But I'll leave that up to you. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you can give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I will be making more videos just like this throughout my travels. Leave a comment if you know any spots I missed or areas of improvement for the next video. Your help is much appreciated. From Chapultepec to you, adios.